Welcome back to Season 8 of Comicbook Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and I'm weirdly far away from my mic. All right, Paulus. We're going to get into the show today. With me here are my co-hosts, Janelle Wheeler, Matthew Aguilar, and Mr. Evan Valentine is back with us again. What is up, everybody? What's up to everyone in the chat? Waking up and hanging out today. Obviously, we have a bit to talk about, and we're going to talk about it. So we had a whole show planned, but the podcast gods were crazy to us yesterday. I'm up there in the office, just typing up stuff, making a little outline for this little party today. And yeah, the S hit the fan. So we got to talk about it. There's been big shakeups over at Lucasfilm. Obviously, you've probably heard about that if you're hearing this. We also got a first look at the Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, and I think this is where our grenade is going to go off today, but we're going to see about that. We have big new film. We have a big new film to talk about. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, which has been my favorite dirty entendre for weeks now. And we're going to talk about what's going on TV. Fallout is still going. Star Trek has a new show out. And there's some big comics this week. Gaming news. Matt's agenda is looking thick with 3 C's. So we have a lot to get to. But let's start with the big one, guys. Kathleen Kennedy's out at Lucasfilm. After many months of rumors about this happening, it has happened. Officially, Kathleen Kennedy stepped down. There was a big organized press release. This was Disney and Lucasfilm at its PR finest. They had a whole kind of press rollout ready to go, followed swiftly by an exit interview with the trades to answer kind of like all our lingering questions. So yeah, here we are. So the deal is, the specifics, if you want to know the biz. And let me just say to anybody in the chat or anybody listening, this isn't going to be like a Kathleen Kennedy hate fest. Like, we're not going to do that. Because, real men don't do that. So I'm not. Plus, if you really, as you can see in our excellent article by our own Marco Vito, you can read, there's a whole bottom section of this article kind of really that breaks down really well the mixed legacy that Kennedy leaves. And it is a mixed legacy. It's a legacy of some of the best highs Star Wars has ever had, like The Mandalorian launching, The Force Awakens, and bringing the whole franchise back and all that. Things, taking chances on things like Rogue One. And then there's lows, right? Like there's the kind of director battles, the solos, the Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker debacle that we're never going to get over, like all the Disney Plus shows. So like there's a mixed legacy there. So that's all I'm going to say about Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not here to, and it's kind of weird that we do this. I feel like we do this, like, obviously with female executives a lot. I'm not here to break down this woman and analyze her. Like, that's not what we're doing. We're going to talk about the business. So here's what's happening in the business.
Bravo,
Kennedy's
Kofi,
going to be,
by the way. Bravo.
Oh,
very well
it's
said.
all good. Yeah, I've been domesticated. I've been with somebody for 26 years. I've been living with somebody for like 20. I just keep looking at that and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fundamentally changed from a lot of you dudes out here. Thank God. No matter shout out to my wife. I don't like to bring personal life to the podcast. I'm more of an ish podcaster. Matt knows what I mean. But yeah, I just kind of, I just have a viewpoint that's fundamentally been altered from a lot of the 4chan people. And we're going to get to that, but that's for the next topic. But so let's get back to business. Kathleen Kennedy is going to be a producer. She's still going to hang around. And she's going to be producing films because that's what she kind of cut her teeth doing. So Dave Filoni is going to be sliding over and becoming okay, let me get the wording right. He's going to, quote, take on creative leadership of Lucasfilm as president and chief creative officer at Lucasfilm, and Lin-Wyn Brennan will serve as co-president at Lucasfilm, with each having held senior executive roles at the studio for more than 15 years. They will report to co-chairman of Disney, Alan Bergman, and who will be kind of the guy Bob Iger puts over there to kind of keep his hand on the Star Wars wheel. So this should surprise nobody, right? Like Dave Filoni is the Padawan to George Lucas. Like he's been out here doing things on the animation side, the live action side. And so like it's not surprising that he's there. Obviously, they're putting him with somebody. It's the James Gunn, Peter Safran kind of combo that I think is now popular in Hollywood in these IPs, where there's a creative guy whose head's in the clouds, like, oh, would it be cool if we had this crossover? And then there's somebody on the business side to be like, you got the budget for that? Like, so I think it's going to be kind of that balance if I had to guess. So I don't think we should be surprised by any of this. What I found to be much more interesting was the exit interview from kind of Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm just going to give you the Discussing Film. Shout out to Discussing Film Breakdowns, because thank God that they're there. We have to write a lot of this, but they're my favorite little outline guide to this all. So here's just a quick rundown. James Mangold's kind of the birth of the Jedi in the Jedi Order movie is on hold, quote, but apparently has one hell of a script that they love. So why they're not making it, who knows? Donald Glover has written a script for the Lando movie, and got a lot of blow. What's up?
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear about that one, actually. That's cool. That's awesome.
He's turned in his Lando movie script. Simon Kinberg, who people were trying to like clown as the guy who directed Dark Phoenix and wrote X-Men The Last Stand, but also did X-Men Days of Future Past and a whole bunch of other stuff we love. Again, mixed bag. He's been working on a new trilogy of films, and that the new co-heads are apparently behind, really, really kind of rah-rah behind that project. Taika Waititi did turn in a script for his, and Kennedy says it's hilarious. It's another comedy bend on things, but no real indication that that's going anywhere. And and after all the hubbub a couple of months ago, there is despite it, the fan reaction, we are not getting that Ben Solo movie. Is not moving forward really at all. So those are the kind of the overarching things that we got out of this. So that's where things stand. But it sounds like Kennedy will also still be attached to kind of promoting and getting Mandalorian and Grogu out the door. We'll just call it Mandu at this point. And Star Wars Starfighter, Sean Levy's movie with Ryan Gosling. That is the first movie set after Rise of Skywalker. So those will still be, Kathleen Kennedy coded films before we get to what's next. And it sounds like, if we're reading the tea leaves here, that Kinberg's trilogy might be what's up next. So how do you guys feel? Go. Janelle, does this break anything for you? Because you were kind of like, you had enough of Star Wars and its fans for a while there. Does this give you a new hope?
I mean,
or does this feel like the Empire striking back?
I mean, I love a good Star Wars project, just like any of us. And I really do enjoy Filoni's work in this universe. Truly. Like I'm a fan. I have a question, because this is not my world. Is he basically like becoming the Feige of Lucas, or is he kind of one underneath that?
Feige's a unique beast, because Feige was a comic nerd.
Yeah.
But he ran around and was basically an assistant to high power producers like Lauren Schuller Donner, who are some of the biggest producers around. So he kind of got this weird one of one mix of creative and business, because he was the guy telling them, hey, here's how it should look. Here's how you're going to make the fans like happy. And then the business people would just be like, all right, but we're putting in black leather suits, for X-Men. So by the time he got control, like, he was still the guy with all these creative hopes who really wanted to get to that Avengers Assemble moment in Endgame and deliver that to the world. But he also knew his kind of way around the business end of it. And even he stumbled, right? Like, at first, his plans weren't the right plans in phase one. Like, he got directors with their own visions, like Kenneth Branagh, Joe Johnston, Jon Favreau, and that quickly that kind of soured because he needed more creative control himself of like what to say to sync everything up. And he needed people who were just more team players and up and comers, kind of like James Gunn and the Russo. So, but yes, for all intents and purposes, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, yes.
Or is he kind of more like James Gunn in DC now?
Now you just
Is there
blew my
that much
mind.
of a difference between Feige and Gunn? For
Well,
Marvel
I don't think.
DC
I think like
continuity?
yeah, I think Gunn is like a Feige generation 2, and
Mhm.
so I think Filoni will be more like Gunn. Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. I have very high hopes, and I think this is going to be really good for the company. I think sometimes a little shakeup is nice, and I do say thank you so much for Andor and
Yes,
Rogue
yeah.
One, and yeah, little Grogu. I can't wait. I mean, even oh my god, it's not coming to my mind, but the one with the kids, the Goonies, that is Star Wars. That I just
Skeleton
love.
Crew.
Thank you.
Skeleton. Yeah.
I
Skeleton Crew.
I love that show. So, anywho, there are a lot of very special things and moments. So, bravo for those. And let's see what's on the horizon for me.
Matt, you can take or leave Star Wars on any given day. How do you feel?
I mean, look, this is I'm good with this because Filoni, I have enjoyed most of, if not all of Filoni's projects to date, and I'm excited for Mando and Grogu. So like I'm happy. I view this very much like that Gunn Safran thing, right? And that's worked really well for DC. So I'm kind of happy to see this move in. I mean, it sounds like Kennedy kind of got Starfighter done, and then like I'm excited for Starfighter. Like I'm excited for kind of the last remnants of her kind of era. But I mean, I'm really pumped for what Filoni is gonna do. I'm excited for I know some of the things I've seen online is kind of like, no, that means we're gonna get a bunch of Clone Wars stuff, we're gonna get a bunch of this and that. But like I dig the inside baseball stuff. I like that there's a human Star Wars encyclopedia as part of this. I dig that. That's how you get really cool projects. Not everyone's gonna be a hit, but I dig it. So I'm happy with this. I like it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Star Wars needs to go back down in scale a little bit to being the niche nerd thing that it was. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to successfully do Star Wars for the masses. We've tried, and it's just caused mass division. It helped split America. America's been split ever since The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And it's like, which one of these dresses is blue and which one of us is gold? But I'm wondering, Evan, if this whole thing isn't just for branding refurbishing, to refurbish the brand, right? Even if Kennedy is in the background, still collecting a check, still involved, like this is a public move, but businesses sometimes have to do to restore kind of confidence or interest from the customer base that may have settled into kind of some kind of opinion, right? So,
Yeah.
you change things up, and now everybody's like, well, now give Star Wars a chance again.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, for real, like, I think you kind of put it a really good way to start off with, Kofi, is the idea of like Kathleen Kennedy's reign as like head of Star Wars just was like, it really was a mixed bag, but like, and I think Janelle and Matt, you kind of mentioned it as well. Like it did give us some of the best stuff that like Andor is the best Star Wars thing. And like that came from under her leadership. So like, and I think one of the biggest problems that I've always had with like the latest like Star Wars stuff past the original trilogy is a lot like the new trilogy really didn't have a plan in place in terms of like, okay, we're going to do like for the sequel, we're going to do this. And then to wrap it up, we're going to do this. It just seemed like a lot of, oh my God, we got to like damage control. And we got to like, people didn't like this about Last Jedi. So we're going to try to do like this and we're going to bring Palpatine back. And it just like seemed like a lot of stuff didn't really work in that regard. And I do like, and while Filoni, like much like Kathleen Kennedy, Filoni, I think has a lot of ups and downs, but Filoni is a Star Wars encyclopedia. That dude really knows his stuff. Like when I saw that they were bringing in a live action General Thrawn, which is like, I did, like, in high school, I did read like a couple of those books, like shout out to Legacy of the Force. I love those books.
Excuse me, it's Grand Admiral. He is
Grand
not a general by
Admiral.
military rank. I know. I have read it. Both Thrawn trilogies. I know.
Boy, I can't wait for them to bring in the Yuzon Vong. I'm just saying. But
that word's so accurate.
But yeah, I'm interested. Like, man, it's really tough for me to get like. Yeah, I know Simon Kinberg did some good things, but man, he did do Dark Phoenix, and that's like a giant like ooh kind of thing. But you know, if he has a vision and he has something like I'm gonna do point A, point B to point C for whatever his new trilogy is, I think like that's worth checking out. But I think like Filoni really knows his stuff about Star Wars, so I'm anxious to see kind of like some of the wild swings that they're able to take in the future that result in good stuff. Like Andor was a wild swing, and that's one of the best parts about like the Disney acquisition is that they're able to explore this unexplored territory that had never been seen before. So cautiously optimistic about the future.
Air.
Oh,
Dead air. God damn. How long have we been doing this? Nobody jumps in? I was stuck. I think I was stuck.
I said my part
Nobody
about
jumps in
Star
to
Wars.
save me. Everybody's just looking at me like, I wonder if he's going to get it.
I thought
together.
Kobe would jump in. Did not.
Three of them. All right. God. If I ever do that, you got 2-second delay. If there's something happen, I'm having a stroke or something, jump in. All right. Let's go.
If you're having a
Don't
stroke, I'm
laugh about
calling
my
911.
stroke.
I'm calling 911.
Don't call 911. It's too late. Just tweet
God.
something good about me before they tweet
I
something
just
bad
watched
about
the
me.
Home Alone where this happened. So I think it was Home Alone.
Let's
Put out a
move on.
stroke in Home Alone.
Yo, talking about
forgot
things
about that
causing a
part.
stroke. Talking about things causing a stroke, Matt. The internet got to
Oh.
look at a new Lara Croft.
Oh man, we got Sophie Turner made her Tomb Raider Lara Croft debut. They took these on the back lot. They just started production on the live action Prime Video series, which is the one that has Phoebe Waller-Bridge executive producing and writing. I'm very excited for this. So of course, look, this happens with every Tomb Raider announcement. This is, as a longtime Tomb Raider fan, this is pretty much old hat.
No,
at
this was
point.
different.
But
This was different. This was different.
it really wasn't though. Every single game announcement that has a Lara Croft redesign is exactly this way. It's been this way for like 10 years. But every time we get a live action Lara Croft, for those of us who remember the Alicia Vikander discussion and all that, okay, it was the same thing. It's always happens. Of course, we get a bunch of cronies out there talking about comparing this Lara Croft, which by the way looks fantastic. Like the costume is like straight up classic Tomb Raider, the red tinted glasses. She looks amazing. But like this is very much well, look at what the original pixelated version with the cones and all that discussion comes up, and like even randomly GameStop jumping into this.
That's
If
what I'm
anyone
saying
paid
is
attention to
different.
Twitter,
No, that's what I'm saying is different. The fact
stupid.
that GameStop used its platform to weigh in on this and negatively against Sophie Turner is crazy. Like that is
I don't know
crazy.
what.
That is
Who is that
different.
Wait, I
Helm
missed
of
this.
that.
What is it?
GameStop
happened?
tweeted out, like shared the image and went like essentially like this is
No, they
not
said
my Tomb
straight
Raider.
up. The caption
Are you
was
serious?
this is not
GameStop?
Nora Craft. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Oh
not.
my
Yeah, this is not
God.
Lara Croft. That's right. That's what it was. Yeah, and like everyone was like, "Is there like a troll coming?" Right? Because that seems like a setup for something to happen where like like a meme or a GIF or something after that.
Yeah, they put the
that was just
pixelated
out
one
there.
up, like, and they're like, "This is Lara Croft," and it's like a joke, and we all know it's satire, and we all laugh, right? No,
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And so I was just like, "Are you
Crazy.
kidding me right now?" Like it just fed this discussion, and it's just dumb. At the end of the day, like I'm so over having this discussion every
like,
time.
come
we get
on,
a new
man,
Tomb Raider.
like you guys, like
she
I
looks
said
amazing.
Like I said last week, we need to reinstate the natural order of getting all those football players out here to beat you the F up and stuff you in the locker where you belong, screaming
Too
for
big
help.
for your britches.
Because this is what happens with this geek chic stuff. You slobbering nerds would not even be able to handle the physical presence of this woman in Tomb Raider costume or just in her bed, like just in her comfy clothes, in a pair of sweats and a hoodie. Like, you're not going to be able to keep it together. So, and you're never going to touch that. So just chill out, man. Like, talking about this is like gross. Like, you want her to flip around in double D's with double guns. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, some of you, man. Like,
Crazy.
oh man.
And
That's
it just
crazy
gets
that
in the
came from
way
GameStop.
of
Just
talking
go make
about
your
a cool
AI
series.
Go make your AI girl. We've gotten you there with that tech. Go make your Lara Croft fantasy and go have your way and then go have fun. Go live in Blade Runner 2049 or Her or any of those movies that predicted where you weirdos were going with this. So
Oh, man,
just
Her. Talk about
yeah.
reaching back into the to
2010s,
the kettle.
right?
I forgot about Her. Well, and that's
Signal
my
harder.
thing is too, is that like it just
I'm not
takes away
signaling
from-
to anybody. I've been somebody for 26 years.
Oh.
There's no hope for
Oh,
me.
I
I'm
see.
not caping for
What-
anybody. I have no skin in the game. That's why my opinion is what it is. There's
Yes.
something when happens
No,
when you take the horny out of a person for like a couple decades. You're just like, you become like a rational person. It happens. It'll happen to you when you guys, most of you hit like 50, 60. I just happen to be
No, I'm
like,
just happy.
when girls, that's why girls love only young guys and old guys when we're just like when we're pre and post, you know, when it's like Janelle's nodding, when it's safe, right? And you're just rational good men who are just like, oh, I like hi, can I hold the
Now
door
I
for
want
you?
to,
Yeah, so-
but I want to get to this because I want to get to Janelle on what you think. Because look, we've talked a little bit about Tomb Raider, but we've never actually had a movie hit other than the Vikander one. And I can't remember if that hit slightly before podcast started or during, and we just like didn't talk about it much. But like we haven't really talked a lot about Tomb Raider outside of the Netflix series that recently popped up. So what do you think? Are you excited for the series? Like, where are you?
I wasn't, but in spite of these jerks, I am fully supporting this just to be like, screw all of you. Lara Croft was my first cosplay I ever did. Fun fact.
Yeah.
I was 17 and I had small tits and I looked just like this. Like, I literally saw this and I like did a double take and I'm like, oh my God, is that me? Like, when I was 17, like slender, like more muscular, smaller boobs. Like, I love this. I absolutely love this. This one has had babies. Like, you can see the outline of her abs. Like, she's amazing. And I'm annoyed that anyone, I cannot believe GameStop. Like, I used to work with them for charity streams and stuff. I am absolutely like disgusted by that. Like, I didn't even hear that until this podcast. You're getting like an honest to God reaction. And I'm so annoyed. Like, who do they think they are? Who do they
Right,
think
that's what
they
I'm
are?
saying. Like, this is nuts. Like, this girl's back in Jonas Brothers, and y'all are like worried about your chance.
Loser.
But like to answer some of
loser.
the chat, I want to answer somebody in the chat, and I'm not even
Oh,
gonna give
no.
you the name call out. But like, here's the difference, okay? When we're talking about men and superheroes, here's where it is. It's like, bro's not buff enough. He's not buff enough. It's like, he has muscles, but they're not Superman muscles. That's not hurting any guy. Let's stop this. Every time it's Gal Gadot, Alicia Vikander, Sophie Turner playing these roles, it's tits, tits, tits. Every single time. Every single time. It's not enough meat. Like, we're pretending these things are the same. These things are not the same. Okay? They're not the same. Let's stop pretending.
I think she's so perfect in this. I thought it was AI the first time I
million
saw
women
it.
came on.
That looks like Laura.
Let's
Croft.
do a true comparison, though. If a million women came on, peered at the Henry Cavill Superman thing and been like, tiny meat, tiny meat. Look at that tiny meat. Look at that print. What is that? What are those? Like, you know.
There is actually a really good...
we'll see how the male community reacted to ever wanting to cosplay, put on things. If it were a commonplace for women to circle up and do print reviews, I don't think a lot of you dudes would be as excited to jump out the window in a Batman costume. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to bring up, is like there's a perfect comparison to this, which is Robert Pattinson's Batman, where people were like, oh, doesn't look really buff enough kind of thing. And it's like, that dude's Batman. I don't know, like that is an amazing portrayal of Batman. And like, yeah, there's people are, it's just ridiculous. And even when like even when I was a teenager, like, man, I just don't remember being like this, let alone being like a company saying it, not my Lara Croft. Bro, come on, man.
Well, right, because okay, number one, that's just the internet, right? Like, we are able to see it. Everyone there were those thoughts, and people had those thoughts, and it's just you didn't see it visually online at a moment's notice, and now you do, right? So like it's progressively gone worse. One thing I will say though is like this whole thing is expected, but it's also a bummer, and it's a continued bummer, because I'm excited for the show. I'm excited to see what Sophie Turner can do as Lara Croft, and all this other muck gets in the way of talking about like what's cool about this. And I'm just excited. Now, look, here's the thing, too. I agree that every time we have a giant casting discussion, men or women, I have come to almost loathe them, because I don't know how many times I've had to eat crow on saying like, I can't see it, or I don't know how they feel about this character. And then that person goes on to like completely kill that role. And I'm like, yeah, I was an idiot. I don't do this for a living. This is not my job. Henceforth, I should just like shut up about it, right?
Yes.
Because I've done it with so many people, and some people I've gone, oh, they're a sure thing, and then it doesn't work out. Like, I've been 50-50 on so much of it, right? So you just don't see what they see, and you won't really understand it until you see the thing, and then you can judge it once it's out there. In this case, so that's number one, an issue I already have, and I've tried to stop myself from going, overboard on like, oh, well, does this person look like Superman or not, or whatever. We had the same discussions with Corn Sweat, right? Like, and he was an amazing Superman, and we had all those. I'm so pumped for this series. And right now, if you're a Tomb Raider fan, we have literally 2 video games on the way, an animated series just wrapped up, and now we have a live action series with like Prime Video, who has put tons of money into their shows. So like, this has a real shot here, and the plot is getting lost because of just stupid, dated things. So it just bothers me a little bit. I just want to geek out about Tomb Raider. And Sophie Turner looks awesome.
We can close it there. I will say this is just making the case for y'all you shouldn't get still images, promotional images anymore.
Yeah. I think I did also
hold everything till trailers. Like, just see it in motion. Until you see it in motion, like, yeah.
I did want to also quickly add that there was another piece of casting news from Amazon this week that Ryan Hurst is cast as Kratos. But I was going to add that was cast as Kratos as the God of War. I was going to add that because much like Janelle cosplayed as Lara Croft, I did cosplay as Kratos a couple of years ago. But ironically enough, Ryan Hurst, he's been in I think he was in Sons of Anarchy.
Opie.
But ironically enough, he was the voice actor of Thor in God of War Ragnarok. So like, he already has a very good understanding of this world and everything. So I'm anxious to also see that in terms of how that's gonna play out and everything.
Yeah. And that casting arrived, by the way, with a bunch of people saying, well, why wasn't Judge in the role? And how did you not judge it? Like, it was just, oh my gosh, I get so sick of.
Oh yeah, I mean, really.
I'm so glad I don't look at this stuff anymore. Like, I don't see fan reactions anymore at all. Because I don't have to write articles like you guys, so like, I can actually avoid this horrible community and reaction.
You can actually be excited about it for 10 minutes.
Yes, and I feel for y'all that you don't get to experience that.
Shout out to Christopher Judge, because everybody was like looking to see his comments, because he did really want to be the live action Kratos, and like, God bless him, I think he would have done a good job. But he was very like supportive. I mean, obviously he worked with Ryan on the games originally, so like, yeah, he's down for it. But yeah, I'm anxious to see kind of what that series looks like, because I love the God of War, the recent game stories.
Judge was a pro. Sent all the support. He's like, gonna kill it. That's class actor right there.
Class act, yeah.
Good stuff.
All right,
so, I'm pumped for
I think Opie as God of War is good, and that And that started its own whole thing because the voice actor for Kratos is black. So then there was a whole is Kratos black thing, which that's for the Midnight Boys to decide. So I'm going to leave that to them. Shout out to the Midnight Boys. All right. Let's keep it moving. This new news kind of took over what I thought was going to be the only crap we had to talk about, but we don't have to spend so much time on these next two. We got another Doomsday trailer. Evan, what'd you think?
Yeah, so we had the fourth trailer, which surely isn't going to be the last, for Avengers Doomsday arrived, that shows us Wakanda, where Shuri, M'Baku, and Namor are hanging out, where they are introduced to none other than the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, Ben Grimm, just once again showing how massive this movie is going to be. I'm still super, one of the things, there's like 8 million things to really look forward to in this movie, but I am really looking forward to the return of Namor. I really dug him in Wakanda Forever, so I'm anxious to see kind of what he does here. This did give us kind of a little brief look into the world of Wakanda. M'Baku is currently the king of the, he mentions that he's King M'Baku, which I think was really cool, because I thought he could have been a wicked replacement for Chadwick Boseman as the new Black Panther. But yeah, just once again world building with what's going on in Doomsday. There's 8 billion different things happening, but this was kind of pretty interesting. I mean, it's going to be really tough to beat that X-Men trailer, but this was kind of, I thought this was my second favorite trailer of the ones that were released. What did everybody else think? Janelle?
I was very excited. This is the first one that like gave me like chills, and I was very pumped about it. But if you remember, I don't have that like X-Men love that you guys have. So I was very excited about X-Men, but this is the first time I have felt, okay, give it to me. Like, let's go. This is actually happening. We're going to see tons of like really cool characters, talking to each other and interacting. And it was such a short, obviously little thing, but I got all of that from it. So yes, I'm finally pumped. So thank you to Marvel for releasing this.
Do you guys believe the theory that these things we're seeing are edited, digitally edited, and their characters being edited out of this?
I think, I mean, the Russos did it before. They did it with Infinity War. There's that.
Oh, they've been doing this. They've done it for virtually every Marvel movie we've had.
Yeah, that legendary shot of like Hulk and Captain America and Black Panther all running at when that scene didn't happen at all. I think that's like entirely possible here. I'm pretty interested. I remember that they had recently interviewed Tom Hiddleston and asked him about the movie, and he said that this movie kind of was structured in a way that people haven't seen before, and that kind of had me very interested to see like what the story structure is going to be, because again, like there's so many different moving pieces, and like to this day I will say that Avengers Infinity War is a miracle. Like that could not have been made by like anybody else. That could not have existed in any different time. The fact that it has 8 million characters and they give a moment to every single person in there, hero and villain alike. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of the structure of this movie, and like as more is revealed as we get to the closer to the December release date.
Oh, I believe this is heavily edited. Like the framing of this, like the space behind Ben, just like how much empty space there is, kind of the space around the Wakandans. You can only see the small thing. Like, I think they edit 2 characters out of this. I think they edit Prince T'Challa out of this shot. Because I think there's some of this that's directed. I think that monologue and things are directed towards him. Like, and I think that they edit Doom out of the other shot.
Oh, really? Oh, that would be...
Yeah, that one especially, because there's all this empty space. And you're like, there's got to be someone right there.
Doom, Franklin, like, yeah, I think there's more.
Well, now I'm even more excited.
Yeah.
This one.
Because, I mean, all of this still syncs, by the way, because I did a deep dive, and you can read my article on Comic Book about Avengers Doomsday plot leaks, kind of ranked by how likely they are. But there's still a lot of this that syncs up. So I think that, I think Ben obviously didn't come here alone, right? Like, Ben Grimm doesn't just roll out to Wakanda by himself. So they're getting on a ship like Ben came with other people who are those other people and why are they not in the shot? Like, I think one of them is Doom, because if it was just a Fantastic Four, like, you'd be able to show that, right? Like, you'd show Reed or Johnny or somebody like that. I think this is kind of, from what I heard, and I think this is kind of the sense, and I think it's not like even a spoiler, because why cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, is that, you know, Doom is going to use this Tony Stark appearance thing to his advantage. And so, like, I think it's going to be structured in a way, and Tom Hiddleston saying is, I don't think it's going to be very late into this film that most of the other people on screen realize that the villain is the villain. And like that everybody's playing for their own kind of survival, but at a certain point that becomes a very singular goal for one person to grab it and be like, nope, it's going to be me. And it's Doom, right? So yeah, I think there's a lot more going on in this. I think we're seeing kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe even not taken away from Doom, but just some Avengers or Thunderbolts in there as well.
Yeah, that's
like
kind of where my mind was going.
Some kind of coalition of the 616 people, because this is obviously Shuri's, and like I said, the Doom is building as these trailers go. The sense that something very wrong is going to happen, and this feels like Shuri's final goodbye. Like I might not be coming back, but I'm like, she's not a queen anymore. She's saying like, yo, I'm the Black Panther now, and this is what I got to do. Like, you're a king, you stay behind and prepare your people to die, which is a crazy line, right? Like a king's purpose is to sit back and prepare their people for the end. Like, that's nuts. But it's very Infinity War feeling, right? Like, we're splitting up our forces. We're leaving some behind. Where are these people going? Like, where is Shuri going? You know, I have a good idea where she's going, and it ain't, and unlike in Infinity War, it might not be this dimension, because we're playing interdimensional games this time. So I thought this trailer was great. And Letitia Wright, like, I think the thing people were saying is just the comparison of when you first saw Shuri in Black Panther to now her face, like how much she's been through. But she looks badass in this, and I want to see what more from her. And I wish we had gotten more of Shuri as Black Panther in more films. Like, I think that could have been good. But anyway, yay, successfully didn't take too much time on this.
Yay.
What about finally, Janelle?
Yeah, new Marvel
Sony's...
rumor. Yay, more Marvel content. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm actually very excited. There has been a rumor that we're going to be getting more Spider-Man in the future with our favorite Marvel pals. Am I saying it? Daniel, it's RPK is his site. But anyways, this guy that reports on it. He said that Sony is now reportedly more open to sharing the Spider-Man characters and the Spider-Man universe people. So obviously, I don't know how much we can trust this, but the idea of Sony sharing more with Marvel of Spider-Man characters, I think would be spectacular. Obviously, like, we haven't seen it. Spider-Man, you know, coexist with some of our other peeps as much as we would want. And we're not even just talking about Spider-Man, we're talking about Miles Morales. Like, we're talking about everyone, honestly, like everyone, even the villains. And so I'm actually really pumped about this. I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm cautiously optimistic, as Evan was earlier with Star Wars. Because I have also learned the hard way not to get too excited about things when they hit, because sometimes they don't pan out. What are you guys thinking about this?
I think somebody finally told Avi Arad to go sit down somewhere in the back. Take her and stop saying you can build a whole Spider-Man universe. You had over 10
without
years to do
Spider-Man.
it. You didn't do it. Yeah. Like, you didn't do it. So no, you can't build a Spider-Man universe. Sorry. Nobody cares. Like, go sit down. Basically just settle into being a licensing operation. Be that bastard ass last company holding on to a Marvel thing and license it out and do whatever you're going to do, and stop wasting your money on production, because you can't produce anything to save your lives. And no. So just license it out to Marvel, collect a little money on it, and hold on to it for as long as the rights allow you to, and put out that one bad film every 10 years you need to. And just be the bastard who's going to keep leeching off Spider-Man instead of just giving it up. But on the other hand, though, like, remember, I just want to say one thing. Push back on is whenever we consolidate these franchises, it doesn't mean more stuff. It means less. If you give Spider-Man all to Marvel, you're going to get less out of the Spider-Man stuff than you would have at another studio that's trying to milk it. So, because safe to say, Marvel Studios would have never made Morbius, would have never made Craven,
certainly wouldn't make Madam
never
Web.
made Madam Web.
I thought you're looking for positives. That's
No, I'm saying,
negative.
I'm just saying, I just want to be clear. Like it
saves us from bad stuff. Okay, you've made the argument for consolidation.
Sometimes it goes the other way. We would
But
have like
they wouldn't
though.
have made the Spider-Verse movies.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the one big thing, right? Yeah. That's the one.
So you take the good, you take the
cap.
bad, and you take the facts of life.
I do think it's still weird to be the weirdest decision that ever got made. There are a lot of weird decisions that got made at Sony, but the weirdest decision that ever got made for me was not featuring Spider-Man in your other movies that are built around him. The Venom thing is just bewildering. I never understood it.
Funny. Ego's funny, man. People just are like, we could do it. No, you can't.
I'm still
have the character. It'd be one thing if it was a legal.
But anyway, I mean, is anybody shocked by this?
No.
After Craven, we're kind of like,
I'll never forget. I'll never forget that one Sony executive who left, who legitimately thought Madam Web and Craven were good movies. That is still mind-blowing to this day, where his quote was like, "Why do people hate them? They were good movies." And it's like, bro, come on, man.
He gaslit us. He was like, yo, the fans just don't know what they want.
They don't know, yeah.
They're just complaining still.
Come on, my
that's
mother was
true,
researching spiders in Latin America.
We don't know what we want half the time, but it doesn't mean that was a good movie.
No. All right. Well, William, none of us are shocked. Let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk about what's going on TV and in movie theaters this week. That was it. That was my break cue. That's all I had.
I've been liking very calming music we've had this episode. It's very chill, cozy, if you will.
Like good elevator music. Oh, got my target.
Cozy
I just started listening to really chill music while reading comics, and it's gotten me through some very traumatic comic reading.
Wow. That's sensory overload for me. I can't do all that at once. All right, Fallout. So we're getting towards the end of season 2 of Fallout, and things are heating up. I thought this episode was nuts. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. I thought, we talk about the show. We talk about things that are dragging on, right? And we kind of were hard on Walton Goggins and that kind of Cooper Howard storyline this season. But man, oh man, you throw some Justin Theroux in there and put those two on screen together, which I never thought about. What?
Mr. House.
Yeah, but I never thought about it together. Those two on screen together are actually really good. They are a really good combo, and I hope we get to see them in the present Wasteland Day, kind of getting to see each other again, because that one scene was just really, really good. I was really captivated by that. Because those two are both just nuts character actors, and them playing off each other was so very good. Justin Theroux kind of adds something to this.
Such a good
that character. And just to have him, Walton Goggins, and Kyle MacLachlan in one show, I sometimes have to stop and be like, yeah, that's crazy. That is actually a crazy lineup of just 3 really like top of the line character actors kind of like doing it, right? So yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It was kind of weird, and I love the Cooper Howard kind of flashback. And this is what I feel like when Fallout really clicks at its best.
Mhm.
Like this is what it was. It was a combination of character story arcs and kind of, you know, weirdness of the world, action, and like some kind of payoff by the end. It felt like a standalone episode, but also like a very standalone story, but like also within the web of the larger story. And I thought that was really, really well done. And I don't know, I kind of noticed this is the one of the episodes that didn't have the Brotherhood in it. And I'm beginning to wonder if I should be looking at this kind of differently about how this season shakes out, about which things are strong and which things maybe aren't as strong. But yeah, you get Ella Purnell and Walton Goggins and Kyle MacLachlan and Justin Theroux in an episode. Like I was like, okay, that was a good time.
There was I really liked this. I felt like, so I've been a little downer on this. I still think it's been a really good season, but I don't think it's been on the same like level as season 1 so far. This episode, I think, kind of had me looking at the entire season a little bit better than I had previously. I think that like everything clicked. I think that like one of the biggest issues I have with Fallout, or this season particularly, is that like not every storyline really hits with me. I think like especially the one about the Fallout or rather the Vault executives being unfrozen and just kind of, you know, being led by the one Vault dweller. That storyline isn't as strong as a lot of the others, but like again, like Lucy and her dad, that storyline still works. I think like the stuff revolving around the ghouls still really works well for me. I'm still, as a big Fallout player, I think that they perfectly nailed the fear of the death claws, just how horrifying they are, and like how I wish they hadn't like escaped from them so soon, but like I get it. They have to get to the new city and everything. But
You also talking about budgets, dog. You think we got budget for more death
yeah,
claws?
that's true. They did show like 8 death claws, which I thought they were only gonna have 1. And they had like 8 of them surround them, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, budget.
And you know, there's going to be some in the finale too, right? Like, you know,
oh
there's
yeah,
gotta be
I'm sure they're
something.
gonna show up again. How many episodes? Does anyone know how many episodes this season?
I think it's 8 or 9.
Right?
8 or 9,
and
yeah.
we're on like episode 6 or something, or
Yeah.
5. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. But yeah, this one of the stronger episodes of the season, I think, for this one.
Janelle?
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I love this show so freaking much. Like this, I'm so mad at myself that I forgot it was back on. But now that it is, also shout outs to Camille. I can't believe he's already gone. But
Yes.
I love him. Yeah, this has just been so good. You guys have perfectly kind of like wrapped it all up, and I'm just enjoying the heck out of this. And everywhere we're going, I'm just about it. I agree. I'm not really into the Brotherhood storyline. It's just very boring to me. And not like, also like any kind of religious stuff. I'm just kind of like culty religious. I've had enough. I watched Severance season 2 finally, and I'm just like, oh my God, I hate
enough of this
stuff so much. Like,
We're on 5 of 8, by the way. I did my research.
5
We're
of
on
8.
5 of 8. Yeah, so we have 3 left. Oh, this is pretty good pacing then. I thought this was like one of the penultimate. I thought this was like the penultimate. All right, no, we good.
Nice. Well, I'm very, very excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, if you really want to appreciate, I'll only add the little tag of essentially, if you want to really appreciate how amazing the death claws look, go watch that behind the scenes featurette they did about making them, of like having people walk around with this giant suit, this death claw suit on the set, and like they actually made like full puppetry. They did full puppetry. There's like 4 people operating it. They wanted it practical, and then they just went and had like ILM do all the like upgrading it essentially to cinematic level. It's really cool, and like they really went out of their way to make that look awesome, and it shows on screen. Like again, Prime, Amazon will put money into these shows, and it shows on screen, and so I gotta say they've developed a reputation for that, so it looks awesome.
All right. Yeah, Fallout going on. Let's move on to a new show this week that premiered, which was Starfleet Academy. So Star Trek's new show is now out. The first 2 episodes are live on Paramount Plus. And I have to say, I was not trying to do Gen Z Star Trek. I was like, okay, you might have lost me at this point, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this weird, quirky little show and the characters in it. It's kind of got that same bop as Strange New Worlds, where it's like, it's a little bit of classic Star Trek, but something very for the new age. But like overall, this kind of eclectic cast of characters kind of comes together. And I think, Holly Hunt, you put her on anything and somehow she can carry it. Wait, this is Holly Hunt, right? Like
Holly Hunter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Holly Hunter, yeah. So yeah, you put her on anything and she can carry a scene, shoes or not shoes, if you've seen the second episode. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, this isn't the next generation. Like, obviously, this isn't Deep Space Nine. This is something for quite literally a new generation of Star Trek fan to kind of get in like I said, this is Gen Z Star Trek. But aside from like the little teeny things they throw in, like some of the curses and the trash talking, I'm like, well, is this what we'd be doing in the like 24th century or whatever it is? Like, I don't know. But like, yeah, the actual characters in their interactions I found to be very interesting. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how good it looked too. Like even that first episode was very cinematic with Caleb and that whole kind of thing with him. So this is just like one of those, I don't have to like watch it, but like I'm going to enjoy turning it on and just like casually just hanging around with this crew of people. And I feel like it's going to have that Deep Space Nine effect because that was different. Like Star Trek, the other shows were like missions every week, right? Deep Space Nine was like, you just came to the station every week and who the hell was here? Right. And I feel like this is going to be a mix of that. It'll be like, okay, sometimes we're doing field trips and sometimes we're just at Starfleet Academy in San Francisco hanging around and having different dramas or situations happening. Right. And I'm down with that. So yeah, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised because I was very skeptical about this show, but I think they nailed a lot of the right beats for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still classic Star Trek. Like the second episode is all debates. It's just a whole debate for an episode. And
you
coming to the end of the
how
debate.
gorgeous it looks.
Oh, yeah.
You're not wrong. Man.
Yeah. And people were
beautiful.
saying stuff about the cast, saying, well, there's not anybody I like in the cast. They're not attractive enough. I was like, what are you people talking about? Like, this cast is actually it's probably one of the horniest Star Trek casts I've ever seen in my life in terms of like the attractiveness of the actors and like their interactions with each other. I'm like,
by the way, that is Paul Giamatti, right?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Paul Giamatti had the time of his life.
I specifically wanted to talk with Matt because I was like watching the show and there was one character in it who I was like, where do I know her from? Because I like,
you've missed that.
I totally did not know that originally going in. Yeah, Becky.
Okay, well, number one, she's talked about it online for like months.
Oh, that's funny. I was like, where do I know her from? Why is this driving?
And we're talking about Becky Lynch, by the way, WWE superstar,
who's Becky Lynch?
Women's North American champion Becky Lynch. We're talking about. She's on the crew.
Oh, who's she? She's one of the students. She doesn't have as big of a role as a lot of the other younger characters on this, but like she's in there. And I remember seeing her and being like, man, it's so tough because like her hair is so different in this than like, but I'm like, where do I know? Like really I swear I know her from somewhere. And it's like, yeah. But
no, it's really
I'll use that as a transition to briefly talk about what I thought about this because actually, like in the past couple of years.
Oh, is she the bridge officer when Holly Hunter says engage it and she has like the blue streak? That's Becky Lynch.
Yeah, that's Becky Lynch, man.
I was like, why are they lingering on this person? Am I supposed to have known who this person is?
Becky Lynch, the man. WWE's the man.
Oh, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Demon of Nine for helping me out with that. Yeah.
I think that so I have been like, I was originally not a Star Trek guy until in the past 3 or 4 years, my wife and I have been watching we watched Next Generation, which I had never seen, and we watched Deep Space Nine, which I had never seen before. And so I'm really fresh in terms of like knowing a lot of the lore and everything. And I think like the Starfleet Academy for me, it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of there's a lot of interesting stuff for Star Trek nerds, like the fact that the Jem'Hadar are now part of the Federation is really kind of a eye-popping. This takes place, for those who don't know, I believe this takes place 900 years after the events of Next Generation. So like everything's a lot different from like the time of Picard and Cisco and all that stuff. But I do feel like one of my biggest complaints is the idea of like there are parts that I feel are like a little too Hollywood. I actually didn't watch episode 2 because I didn't realize there was a second one. But hearing that it's just like a discussion, that has me like way more into it. I feel like with Paramount and like these Star Trek premieres, they have to like make it more action oriented. Like they have to have fight scenes and all this stuff. And like I never really felt like those were big required things for Star Trek in general. So like I'm excited to watch that second episode after hearing everybody talk about it. But yeah.
Janelle,
Yeah.
Before I roll in.
I don't have Paramount Plus.
Okay.
I wish I did.
Probably the right call.
I wish I did.
I didn't jump in.
You're not watching Mayor of Kingstown, Landman, and the excellent program.
Landman.
Dude,
Landman.
I've been watching some Landman.
That's
always crazy.
Landman is America's new favorite, like secret pastime. Everybody's watching Landman. It's been crushing records.
That show is so good.
I'm just in it for the son. I just want the son to make it. That poor kid.
Oh my gosh,
He's just always trying to chill. Yeah, I'm on season 2 too.
Thornton, Andy Garcia.
Well, no, let's talk about the real thing in that show. The return of Ali Larter. And like,
Ali Larter's amazing in that show.
It was like, you know what?
There's so much.
I might be older now, but I still got that varsity blues in me. I'm gonna get out here and
oh my gosh, Sam Elliott too is amazing.
Oh yeah,
in the show. So yes,
just him looking at the sunset. Yeah, that's great.
But
listen to us talking about Landman. We're bonding over Landman. Hey.
Moving back to Star Trek, I will say, so I am when I first got hired on to comic book, I've said this before, but like there were two things that I was like, they were like, hey, what are you versed in? And I was like, there's two things that I have blind spots except for very specific eras. And I was like, it's Star Trek and Doctor Who. I was like, I know 11th season, I know the 11th Doctor really well. Outside of that, I'm not the best. And I was like, Star Trek, I know the Next Generation. That's it. I don't know anything else really outside of those two, right? So Star Trek has had a really hard time grabbing me as a viewer because I don't, I don't know all the lore. I'm not steeped in it. And honestly, a lot of Star Trek was kind of boring for me. I've tried to like jump into certain season. It's just never grabbed me. It's never clicked for some reason. And then Brave New Worlds was probably the closest I got to like, hey, this is
New Worlds.
Cool. Strange New Worlds. I don't even know the name of it, right? That's how much it grabbed me. So like it got about as close as it could.
That's crazy. I feel like if you watched, we got to figure out. We need to put together a list of.
Well, here's the thing, though.
The high concept episodes of Strange New Worlds, but like the musicals, the Renaissance. What's that?
I found the show. This is my show. Starfleet Academy is my show. I've been looking for the show that resonated with me, and that first episode was brilliant. I was glued. I could not move. And here's the thing: a lot of Star Trek sometimes becomes about all the politics and hey, here's all the lore that you need to absorb here, and here's why these characters matter. All that stuff, right? It's a lot of exposition for me. Here, they grabbed me with a central hook that I can get attached to. They gave me multiple characters, a scenario that I can empathize with, and like, hey, you were glued to this mother and son. Tatiana Maslany, amazing, so good in this, right? You've grabbed me there. The Holly Hunter thing of I feel this regret because of separating these two. All of that resonates, and that is the main through line throughout all of the other Star Trek-y stuff. But I care now about all the cadets and about the school, and I can get behind all this because there's a central plot point that I gravitate to. And that's always, a lot of times that's missing for me in Star Trek. And so this was fantastic. And then we get to the second episode, and while it deals more with kind of that typical Star Trek stuff, I care now I don't care. More often than not, I do not care about that stuff. It's boring when you don't have a real something to kind of sink your teeth into. And here, there's a real heartfelt story at the center of it, and they did such a good job of hooking me. Like, for someone who isn't as well versed in Star Trek and who is kind of looking for that thing, I thought the first episode was brilliant, and I thought it was really smart too for them to offer it free. You can watch the first episode free. You don't need Paramount Plus. You can watch it free on Prime Video. And then the second episode, you have to
I mean, how was I supposed to know that? Ain't nobody telling me this.
I thought they did a
eight-year
really
podcaster in entertainment. You should know all the tricks.
This was
You've
fantastic.
also been a former employee of the Paramount Corporation.
I know. Are we supposed to have like a chip on our shoulder?
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that, because I agree with you. When I heard Paramount Plus, I'm like, ugh, there's a part of me. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hold Sonic responsible, right? I'm going to watch all the Sonic movies. I don't care. I'm going to watch all the Transformers movies. I'm going to watch the Power Rangers movie when it inevitably hits. All that's Paramount. I can't turn away from the content so much. It's just I chip away a lot of the other stuff I don't care about, right? Because I'm not out to do any favors.
You can't turn away from Landman. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can't turn away from
It's just fun to say Landman. Landman.
This whole world runs on oil, boy. You can't turn away from Landman.
I
think across the board, for all of us who did our homework, we could say watch Starfleet Academy, right? I'm messing with you, Janelle. But we recommend this.
Anybody wants to send me their login? I'm just kidding.
It's on YouTube. It's free on YouTube.
Just one episode, though. I don't want to invest my life into one episode, love it, and then not watch it.
Good. It's a really good.
I don't even have Apple TV right now. I'm waiting for F1 to start up because this stuff is getting expensive, y'all.
Yeah.
I can't listen to these proletariat concerns. I'm those Twilight characters up on the balcony. I will stream as I wish. But all right, yeah, we recommend it. Go check out Starfleet Academy. It's free on YouTube, the first episode. See if you like it. Let's talk about what's in, or maybe we'll switch it up real quick and do comics so Janelle can weigh in on comics before she has to drop out of here. And then because I want to have some space, because we got to talk about 28 years later, the Bone Temple. So, yeah. Would you guys, Matt, why don't you take us through comics this week?
Yeah, we had DCKO number 3. This was pretty much, there was some really cool battles in here, but the crux of this was the Superman battle and the Joker battle. And the Joker battle was crazy. I loved what they did with the Joker battle. And we're getting into spoilers on this because I don't feel like there's a real great way to talk about this without spoilers. So spoilers for DCKO number 3. But the fact that we got Mr. Mxyzptlk in this and the way they did it too, because we get this whole Batman who laughs sequence, and then we get the reveal, and that makes it even better. And that being juxtaposed to what the Superman fight that's happening with Shazam and the Green Lanterns, which I adored, but for actually different reasons than I would have gone in expecting. The Zatanna fight, that part is great. The Wonder Woman's, the big Barda Wonder Woman stuff, I thought was really good. There's a lot of really cool moments, but ultimately this is Superman and Joker, and I thought they did a really good job of nailing that, because that is really what tees up the next issue, which is this kind of pseudo absolute crossover without it really being a crossover, right? It's not the event that you would expect for this to happen, but I like how they're intertwining it. And that's really setting the stage for next issue. But I really dug this issue. I've liked KO. I've liked it from the beginning. Issue 2 was probably my least favorite, but I thought issue 3 was closer to issue 1 of just the themes and things. But I dug this. But what did you guys think?
I really did. I dug this as well. I think that the Joker went into this with the best idea of anybody, because if you can pick one person from any to help you as a teammate, you're not going to pick Connor Hawk. Sorry, Cyborg. Sorry, Vic Stone. That was a terrible decision. You should pick Mr. Mxyzptlk.
The shade.
and you should pick a force of nature who's able to turn you into Emperor Joker again, which I thought was really cool. But I really dug this issue. Another thing I had to really quickly point out is that this has a giant nod to Dragon Ball fans. Really, the fact that so Matt might not know, but so when Superman gets the power of Shazam, it fuses together and he gets earrings that are straight from the Dragon Ball series, which is how Goku and Vegeta fuse at one point. I wrote about it on comicbook.com yesterday, and create Vegito. So it's clear that like this is a nod to that.
I did not pick up on that.
Oh yeah. It was a nice little like, hey, we're all Dragon Ball fans over here. We're gonna be able to do this. But yeah, no, I really dug it. I think that this series has been like a very good crossover for like fan service in general, and I think it's worked really well with that so far.
I'm not digging it.
Oh my gosh.
I
knew that was coming.
Every single one of these issues. I mean, I've struggled to get through every one of these issues. I get it. It's just too much deep cut DC lore kind of masked as a fight. And it's just nerding out on a level that I want a duel. Like, I'm a Star Wars kid. So like when I think of a duel, like it has to be both visually action satisfying and have some level of dialogue and psychology at work that makes that it's not just a duel of swords, right? It's like a duel of wills or people. This is just kind of like a lot of fan service moments after one. And like, this is the stuff we talked about like with your geek friends around lunch tables in high school, right? Like if I had a fight between like blah, 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 what would happen? Like, and it's a lot of that. So it's a lot of fan service and it's not bad, but it's just kind of like, oh,
funny bone.
It's just like a lot of page turning and like, yeah. And I'm just trying to see, okay, who's going to win this? And like, I've been able to predict pretty much how each fight's going to go. Like, wow. Because it's pretty obvious from the moment. You only need a first couple moments to see what the theme of the fight is going to be. And then be like, okay. So like when Harley Quinn started wailing on Molly Whoppin's Zatanna, I'm like, okay, I know where this is going to go. Like it's going to be until Zatanna finally like flips out and does real stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, and it's like, so it's kind of easy to predict. I was actually more excited for the Batman Who Laughs and Joker team up. Like I was like, why did you pivot away from that? I get it. But that would have been sick to see. Like that'd have been a funny one. So, didn't mean that to be a pun. But it's page turner and it's good. But I'm just gonna say it's no X of Swords.
Hey man, I'll totally be with you on that because X of Swords is also one of my favorite X-Men crossovers of all time. So like I'm there.
But the difference is, and here's the difference. That wasn't just deep lore fan service. There was a lot of lore that they were inventing, but they also introduced new characters you knew nothing about, so that each duel was interesting and high stakes. First we had done all the work to get the weapons, and then like when they did these matchups, like we didn't know, like the Crocodile Man, we didn't know what he was gonna do or how tough he was, or the girl or the one that's married to Doug Ramsey now who can't ever lose. And that's like her mutant power.
Great character.
Yeah, what do you do with that? So that was kind of, we had these new interesting characters. This is just everybody we know and deep lore stuff. So I think that's just the difference in all seriousness.
Well, now I wish I read the one you just referenced. Because I loved this. I think
you were here for X of Swords with us. I think you were here for that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were here. It was during the Krakoa age. It's when the X-Men had to have a tournament where everybody had to get their own sword, and then they had to have a sword fight tournament. Yeah,
I like this more.
All right, there we go.
It's just because I'm more familiar with these characters. It's probably, I do feel like it gets a little like overly descriptive. It's like, I am doing this other thing because I have this other thing. It kind of like spells it out a little much, but thank you for doing that because I need that because I don't have all of this context. But I'm loving this. It feels like the Hunger Games DC. And I mean, I feel like you guys have said everything perfectly, but I enjoy it. I did read 2 and 3 back to back. So I don't think I got that kind of let down from 2. Like 2 was awesome because I went straight into 3. So
right, gotcha.
But yeah, I love it. And I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Have a great day, everybody.
Right,
I'm running away.
Bye.
Bye.
real quick to hit on the other big release here. One of the things we did talk about on the show a lot when it first released was King in Black, and our boy Noel has been sitting rotten in a cage thanks to Hela for a little bit, and now he's getting his breakout solo series. He's once again starting to rise in power. We kind of get a big, you can tell he's been away for a minute, because like the first, I feel like 2 or 3 pages of this issue are, hey, here's everything you need to know about Null from like the beginning to all through King of Black. Like it very much is like getting you up to speed. And then we get kind of, hey, here's moving forward. Ryan Stegman did King of Black, and I adored that artwork. We praised that artwork at the time. This is not Ryan Stegman, but I gotta give props because I thought this was also excellent in the art department. Some of the fight scenes and everything, I thought they just looked fantastic, even though this is a kind of sort of depowered Null. But what did you guys think?
I think that, like, man, it's a tough ask to like make Null a character. I mean, as much of a slight against Null that is, I kind of didn't feel like this. I thought like there were some cool aspects of this issue, but ultimately, I think, man, you have to find a way to like. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but you really have to find a way to make Null a character, and I feel like it's really tough to do that, and I don't necessarily think they did that here. I'm interested to see where it goes. I think the idea of like mixing in Hela was a really interesting idea, and man, that final tease had me on board, where I was like, okay, now I want to see what's going to happen with this. So at least it has that. But yeah, just kind of middle of the road for me. I don't think it kind of knocked it out of the park, but like it was fine.
I didn't get a chance to get to this one, so I'm not going to weigh in.
Yeah, I agree with Evan on the character stuff. Like this was very much a catch up on Null of like what has been happening if you haven't been paying attention to some of the other titles that this was kind of glimpsed in, and then very much we have to kind of get him, like this was very much an establishment of the story we're going for, almost like a I forget that there's a term I'm looking for, but like it was a kind of essentially like we're setting up the premise here, and then I'm curious to where that takes him in issues 2 and 3, because that's really where the character work's going to come in if they can do that. But yeah, like he didn't have to be a character in King of Black. He was just an awesome bad guy, and everybody else got to be the characters and play against him. It is going to be a challenge for them to establish that. So yeah, kind of a mixed bag in that regard, but I liked it for kind of what it was and what it was going for. But yeah, that's comics.
All right, now for our main event. Oh, I forgot there's a dog under here. There's a dog. So we saw 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Since we're putting this at the end of the show today, we're going to talk a little bit more spoilery about this, because there's some things we got to talk about in this movie that are impossible not to talk about without some mild spoilers. But I saw this. Evan saw this. I've kind of gone back and I watched 28 Days Later before this. And this is one of my favorite. Or? Oh, 28 years. I keep saying days. And I keep writing it down too, which is crazy. And like, I've had to keep correcting myself. 28 years. It's happened so much that my spell check keeps trying to make me revert to days every time I write years now. Stupid AI. But this is becoming one of my favorite horror trilogies of all time, because I really enjoyed the first film more than I thought I did. Like I was kind of like, okay, when I saw it, because I don't know, it was just different than I was expecting. But when I've gone back and rewatched it, and I've gone back and rewatched it twice, like it really is good about capturing. It's a very much, there is this whole wave, and I wrote about this. None of you read it, and because nobody's there yet, but there is a whole subgenre when we're going to look back in like 5 years of specifically Gen Z, what I would call Gen Z horror, which is horror aimed at the concerns and anxieties that are specific to kind of Gen Z, specifically geared towards like, what kind of world have we stepped into as we're entering adulthood? This looks like the apocalypse. What the hell? I've been in my phone all the time. I've been sheltered. Now I'm out here and it's like a hellscape. Like, what the hell is going on in the world as I try to get out here and make a career? I can't buy a house. I can't do all this stuff. Marriage rates, all of this is kind of in peril for their generation. And so that first film was really good about doing that. whatever you say stylistically about Alfie Williams' character, about him leaving this town, going out in the world, him coming, like being disillusioned with his dad, his family, you know, and then naively going out and thinking, oh, I can make my way in the world. And, you know, and then finding out very much how much that's wrong. And this movie perfectly segues that concept at the end of the first one into what this second one's about, but in a completely different style than Danny Boyle's like hyper frenetic kind of.
Yes.
This is a very serene, kind of naturalistic movie, and the scenes are long and drawn, and like, yeah, you're there for about a good 2 to 3 minutes for every scene that's gonna take place. These are almost like little play vignettes and that Nia DaCosta goes. And this is her finest film yet. I think this is proof of what everybody kept giving her jobs for. And I think it benefited from her making this film while they were shooting the other one. So she had the trust of like Boyle and them, but like everybody was too busy to be like, you know, up her back about every little thing. So they kind of let her make this film what it is. And in this film works because I was through 2/3 of it. I was like, okay, there's 2 separate storylines in this film. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is like the most almost schizophrenic matchup of movies you could put together. One's and both of them very odd and like eccentric, but one's very like peaceful and serene. One's hyper violent and dark. And I'm like, how is this all going to coalesce? And then when it does come together, and by the point in the climax of the film, like one hell of a climax, one hell of a point to the film, and like a good ending and setup for the third. So I was surprised by how well this was done and just how much it actually made sense, came together, and you kind of like understood it. And I'll also say this is one where the director was smart enough to let the performances kind of drive what was happening. And this is just a showcase of Ralph Fiennes and Rafe Fiennes in one movie and Jack O'Connell leading another movie. And they are both fantastic in this.
Yes.
Like, this is some of the best Rafe Fiennes has ever done, which is saying something. One of my favorite performance of his since The Menu. And yeah, Jack O'Connell, as I put up in a tweet, is just on a freaking generational run as a horror, as playing 2 horror villains who are completely separate, but both terrifying, like Remick in Sinners and Sir Jimmy. Oh God, I keep messing up his name. He has this crazy name.
And
Sir Jimmy,
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sir. It's I'll look it up, but playing Sir Jimmy in this, and yeah, he carries this movie so well. Like, it is nuts. But yeah, this is a great start for horror. I was worried about a January release date. I'm not worried anymore. How about you, Evan?
Yeah. I remember I think I was on for the episode where we originally talked about 28 Years Later and how I was kind of mixed on it. I effing love this movie. I love 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I think it's way better than 28 Years Later. It is able to kind of deliver the same message as its predecessor, but in such a better way, I felt. Both of the different storylines, the one with Ray Fiennes and Samson and the one with the Jimmies, are like complete opposites, but work so well that you're just anticipating when they kind of collide later on in the movie. There's
Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal.
Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal. Oh my God, the Jimmies are so scary. People do not know how terrifying. Like, the idea of like, I actually hadn't. You made a great point, Kofi. Is that I actually hadn't watched this movie through the lens of like, this is a commentary on Gen Z or Gen Alpha. That's a very interesting. Now that I think about it, like, that's a very interesting and kind of noteworthy thing. Is like, yeah, what's happening to the generations, but the idea of like these young Jimmies, they become adept at living in this world. What does that mean? How terrifying is that? Like, all of those things. This had this I can say confidently, while I can't say confidently that this is going to be my favorite horror movie of the year, because I think like we're still too early. I can pretty confidently say that this is going to make my top 5, if not top 3. I think that like this movie in and of itself has so many good things working for it. And like, it's an insane movie. There are things that happen in this movie that on paper, if you were just to describe it to somebody, they would go, what are you talking about? Like the stuff with Samson, one of my absolute favorite moments is, and this isn't really a spoiler, it's just a line and you'll have no idea what it means, but just, I forgot my ticket is one of the most jaw-dropping lines I think I've seen in a movie in a really long time, where I was just so stunned at it, and like the subsequent what happens after that is like, oh man, so good. But also, I would be remiss if I cannot say this is my favorite horror movie of the year, but I can say that this has my favorite scene in a movie for this year, which is the Iron Maiden Ray Fiennes.
Oh, that's going to be in every highlight reel, every collection, like montage at the end of 2026. Oh, that's in there for
that
life.
Is so
and if Iron
good.
Maiden doesn't break that out at some point and use it in a concert or something,
I was watching that scene in awe, and then he breaks out. What is that? The bow staff with like the
flaming bow staff
fire on the side. Oh my god, dude! Yeah. Oh, I was like jumping up in my seat watching that. It was so good.
Oh, the whole theater was locked in when I was our theater was locked in.
And I will say this does have like a sequel bait. It does have a cliffhanger thing, and I won't get into what that is. But again, on paper, it's kind of something where you'll be like, oh, they're gonna do this. But the way that it's acted and the way that like a character arrives into this movie, for me, is so good in terms of like, because this said character has a back and forth with another character that is so like mundane, but also very compelling, and like, I want to see more of this moving forward. Like, yeah, I hope that I know that the third movie in the 28 Years Later has been confirmed. I don't know I really hope they get DaCosta.
It's Boyle.
Back.
No,
it's going to be Boyle. Oh, it's
yeah,
gonna be
the
Boyle
third
again.
film
Well,
is Boyle. Cillian Murphy. We got to put it out there. That's what I said. We're going to be able to talk about some of this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Third film is
so Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy's is the star of the third film. It's Boyle. Garland's writing it again. Alfie Williams. Kelly. Aaron Kellyman, who's Jimmy Inc. Will be back. So we know that already. So they confirmed it late in December because all the feedback they got from this film was like, oh, okay, well, let's finish it out. And we greenlit it. But Nia DaCosta needs more horror stuff. Candyman we missed because of the pandemic, and then the Marvels was what it was. But no, this proves like it's not a fluke. Like, give that lady a job. Like, I think the biggest redemption stories this year right now are Nia DaCosta opening this movie and Chloe Zhao walking away with that Golden Globe.
You're right.
Yeah. Like Marvel ate them up and, made them stumble a little bit. But no, those ladies are really talented as hell. So like, keep giving them movies and give them horror movies for sure.
And Chloe's doing that Buffy the Vampire Slayer show. So that's going to be awesome.
So like with all that being said, I know we're only 2 weeks into the new year, but like, this is my favorite movie of the year so far. It's an easy decision. I would strongly recommend people go see this in a theater, because like, even if you didn't like me, if you weren't as jazzed on 28 Years Later originally, like this is the Empire Strikes Back of of the 28 Years Later trilogy. I thought that this worked amazingly well, just across the board. Everybody was operating on
oh my god,
100%. And I would be remiss if I didn't. It's Jack O'Connell, right? I would be remiss because this is a good nod to Matt. Jack O'Connell does want to be a villain in One Piece, in the live action One Piece. So I am kind of looking forward to, after seeing his amazing villainous role so far, and I'm hoping that happens. But I cannot recommend this one enough. It's really an amazing movie.
Yeah, and I will say I'm shooting bail at the first one because, like I said, I think we had a lot of expectations going into it, like about what it was going to be, and the trailers made it seem like one thing, but it's very much another thing. It's not so much about the zombies; it's very much about Alfie Williams, who really carries that film, and his kind of disillusionment with manhood, getting out in the world and what it is, and to be, to do all that. But both of these films do a very good job of actually making you tense and scared. Like, I was still scared in the first one, rewatching it. Like, when they're running away from that alpha across that gangway, trying to get back into that fence, that's scary. When they're on the train and carrying the baby and that whole thing, and Samson comes like bursting through, and you're like, oh, you're like, get out of there. And this one's the same way. What Nia DaCosta does, I think, better than Boyle did, was make you know these characters and care about these characters, so that you're concerned legitimately about everybody's either safety or their kind of emotional safety. Like, there's a lot of this, and you're watching Alfie Williams, you're not concerned he's going to necessarily die, except for a very intense beginning when I was like, oh, there's something's going to really just happen to get this out. Nope. Like, nope. Yep, we're just going right in. That is one of the most intense beginnings to a movie I've ever seen.
That was so good. That was such a good way, because like when I saw 28 Years Later and the Jimmies first showed up, I did not expect them to be this. And then
nobody did. Jack O'Connell talked about that. He said he and Boyle and DaCosta like sat down and talked it all out, and he really wanted to do that first introduction, the hyper like kitty, like crazy, like what the F is happening here? Because they almost look like they're cartoon characters, and they could be his friends. And like this, like, you think it's going to be like the artful, Oliver and the Artful Dodger type thing, right? Like, oh, these kids they're good. They're trying to help them. They're just misguided and they do bad stuff. Yeah. No.
Oh, no, man. Take off their shirts. Oh, my God. Oh,
Charity.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, there's so many quotable lines.
Yeah.
So good, man.
Oh, yeah. Old Nick, Charity.
Nick.
I mean, just calling everybody Jimmy. Yes, Jimmy. I don't know, Jimmy.
Hey, we're going to kill you.
I'll be calling everybody Jimmy now. But no. And it is like, but I mean, it's obvious that this one has much more of an obvious point. Boyle's thing just feels kind of kinetic and just like a little bit all over the place or meandering. This one has a very, very, very distinct and controlled point of view and what it's saying thematically. And they've said the first film is all about, I feel like it's like the nature of like discovery or maturing or something. This one's about the nature of evil, and the third one's about like the nature of redemption. So I'm going to be, and I think DaCosta did, like you said, the Empire Strikes Back job of moving these very crucial pieces, because we're trying to tiptoe around it, but this movie has significant shifts for the entire franchise and the larger lore of it, and what happens in the middle of this movie and where it leaves things is still in this semi-chaotic place where there's hope, but we got to get to that hope and like put pieces together and, do something about it. And I liked the ending and how it flipped, because that ending said a lot without saying much. Like, where we find, this character and what he's doing and how he's talking and what he's, what kind of life in that interaction they have at the end kind of says a lot about what we're going to get into in this third film about, do we still believe in people? Do we still help people? Do we believe that things can get better, or are we just all out bunkered down for ourselves? Like all that stuff. Right. But this is going to be a special movie. The visuals alone are superior to so much in the horror genre, and the performances are crazy in this. And and I think I don't think there was a better time to have something like we said for Gen Z or Gen Alpha, like the Jimmies and that whole thing, and even wrapping in real life stuff about Jimmy Savile. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. Sorry. But there was a guy who was, but you think about it, but like there was a guy who was the face of British media for decades. Like, and everybody, he was like the beloved guy by the whole country. And then the minute he drops, if you don't know this story, the minute he dropped, he turned out he was bigger than Epstein. Like, he was just out here, like, even corpses, the elderly, young kids. He was just the worst of the worst. And so it's just like, I think this movie deals with some of that national trauma and kind of like a lot of ways about, who you think people are and then who they turn out to be. Right. So, Anyway, we're going in circles. This is an excellent film. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I did want to say, someone in the comments said, can we skip? Distance Nerdings asked, so we agree we can skip 28 weeks later. No, I don't agree with that, because 28 weeks later has one of the greatest opening scenes of any horror movie of all time. So like that's definitely
screws up every relationship, man. That puts tension in every relationship. That 28 weeks later.
Oh,
I
man,
remember seeing how my girl
boy.
and her just turning around and looking at me hard and being like, "What?
You wouldn't leave me, right?"
Yeah.
If
but it
I'm
makes you
being
think.
chased in that way,
You don't want to. That movie messes with you. You don't want to think about those things. Yeah.
I will say, like, even though I wasn't as big on 28 Years Later, I would still say, like, yeah, it's worth seeing. All these movies are worth seeing. They're worth watching. I'll still say that, like, man, no, I'd still probably say that 28 Days Later is my favorite, but then Bone Temple's second, and it's a close second. For me anyway, which is
I enjoy all of them.
I think they're all good. I think they're different. But like
28 weeks later is its own weird thing now. It's so extraneous now that it almost doesn't matter in a way. But
sure,
yeah, because and I don't even know if it's canon because they've written around that, because in that one the virus is worldwide.
Yeah,
like the UK gets wiped out. Like
I mean,
legitimately,
this virus would seem like you could not contain it to one island. But like, hey,
no,
whatever.
you wouldn't be able to.
You wouldn't. It would be impossible.
Danny Boyle's very much just a UK focused guy. So, but yeah, no, I'd say I love this world and I love every one of the setups. I mean, fast zombies that are crazy and how fast you get infected and all that stuff. It's tense every time.
Yeah. I was talking with my coworker Nick Valdez because he had seen it yesterday, and there's one scene where I'd been waiting for throughout all these movies. There's one scene where somebody like brains one of the infected and the blood splashes on their face and they get immediately infected, and that had never happened in any of the movies before, like that particular situation. And I'd been waiting to see that because it's like, oh yeah, all it takes is one drop of blood, so like if it gets anywhere, like, and so like that was a really cool little sequence, I thought.
No, I like that scene because it was very well thought out, because of this, it's about a group of random survivors and they're just like, no, we're not going to fight these. And they're like, it's just one of them. And they're like, dude, don't. Yeah. But there's also, they edited out in this trailer footage of Erin Kellyman's Jimmy Inc. when she encounters that zombie on the road. What she does there is so freaking smooth that everybody in the theater was just like, woo!
Yeah, that was like crazy how adept this new generation is. The Jimmies are at just murder and like easily surviving in this locale. I thought that was such a good way to kind of display it.
But her move because it was directly about the blood spatter, right? She just slices and rolls out of the way of the blood spatter, and then just comes up without missing a beat and just is still walking like nothing happened. And it's like one of the smooth, and I swear to God, everybody in the theater was like, whoa!
It's super cool.
And this is also great. We don't say enough. Erin Kellyman's been out here kind of quietly killing it between doing Solo and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, this show, and all the other performances in between she's done. But she was really also a low-key standout in this as Jimmy Inc. because she brings this thing where you don't know what she's going to do. Like, you don't have any kind of real bearing on if she's good, if she's bad, like what she's going to do. So,
man, it sucks to be a Jimmy. It's really bad. It's really bad. Yeah,
not a good group you want to belong to. But all right, we've talked enough about this. Go see it. Go check it out. Needed to cost, it killed it. Matt, what do you have on your agenda to close out the show?
Yeah. Well, today starts Marvel Rivals Season 6. And you can jump in and play as Deadpool, who is the first multi-class character in Marvel Rivals. One of the big things is he is a duelist, a strategist, and a vanguard all in one. You can pick each role when you go to the character select screen. Most of his abilities, like core abilities, remain the same. But then from what I was able to play some rounds earlier this morning and get a feel for like the differences between the different roles. And while the main abilities are the same, what they do and the effect they have on the battlefield change. So like he'll have the same kind of spin. He's actually right there. If you're watching the live show, you can actually see him throw something. That's his head. He's throwing his own head at people and it spins, right? But if you're the duelist, that does damage. If you're the strategist, that can actually heal your people if they're around it, and it also does damage to the other people. Vanguard does different things. He's got that great unicorn shield that happens. He only has that with like certain roles. And then the other big thing is the leveling up thing, which is actually really cool. Number one, you do have to do it on the fly. So like when you fill up your XP bar at the bottom, which is below kind of the shield there and the health, you'll actually have to go into that screen, level up several abilities, but then you can really see a difference. And you get that visually too, because as you level up, his attacks like start making like effects, right? There's a lot of booms and pows and all this kinds of stuff. And then his weapons become more and more like upgraded and golden by the end of it. You're getting those visual cues. He levels up faster the better you play and the more stylishly you play. So there's a lot of fun things. Also, if you just leave him and don't move him, the commentary, like he's always talking. And they did a really good job of like, this dude is like, he's talking about like right click, left click, right click, left click, like hit the button, right? He's always talking to you constantly. And he's making some great jokes. Like they did a really good job on the dialogue. He very much feels like Deadpool. And I don't think he's as like difficult to get a grasp on as like someone like Gambit or even Daredevil to a degree. But I think people will very much find their kind of their preferred play style of him as things go on. The other big season 6 news is that over the course of the next month or so, we will get a brand new map, a new convoy map, which is great. That's a huge thing. We'll actually be getting the new proficiency system has already kicked in. So if you go into heroes that you've already kind of made progress on, you'll automatically get rewards based on the level that they've adjusted. So that's all in there. You can like earn animated lord icons, all kinds of different rewards, like way up. I think it goes all the way up to like level 75 or something. So they've really changed that. There's a new clobbering club area of Times Square where you can actually have one-on-one duels, and then if you pay some units, you can have that duel blasted onto the big screen in Times Square, right? They're adding of course we get Deadpool, and then we'll get Elsa Bloodstone in 6.5. They're also, the other big thing is that they are taking away the Marvel Zombies is finally being retired after 2 extensions, but they are introducing a brand new PvE mode the first half of this year. So we are going to get something else cool. The 18x18 is staying. They made a lot of different buffs and nerfs and things like that, of course, as well. And the Battle Pass brings a bunch of new costumes, including, I think my favorite, there's some really great classic stuff. The Blade one looks amazing, but the Bucky suit for Winter Soldier is fantastic. So lots of great stuff. Really excited to jump in. Good luck getting to play Deadpool for at least a week because that team's going to be insta-locked. But, it's going to be fun. Next, I wanted to move into 2 quick reviews. Number 1, if you're looking for something extremely approachable in the Star Wars universe, Star Wars Super Teams is a actual racing game. You're going to be racing TIE Fighters, the Millennium Falcon, all these kinds of things. They're set up into different colored teams. And up to 4 players, you'll be moving your little ships across the map. You're essentially just trying to get to the end first, right? But the fun is that you're actually drawing cards. When you have your deck of cards, you have everyone's color. Like, so you're a certain color for your team, right? Let's say you're green, but you have cards that are black and that are red and that are yellow and that go to the other team. So sometimes you will be left with cards like no way to move your own ships. So you will kind of look to be like, okay, well, how can I help the opposition the least? So there's a bunch of strategy in there of like trying to move people in a way that actually negatively affects them. You can try and move them backwards. You can try and get boost cards that help you get a little bit further. And it's like super fun, super approachable. But there's actually depth there. Like there's a bunch of different bonus cards that let you handle some of the impediments and obstacles better than others. There's ways to, there's actually a grappling hook, which is awesome. So if someone passes you and you have a grappling hook, you can actually play that and then you'll latch onto them and be dragged with them ahead. So like you can find ways to move your ships ahead. It's also great because once the first person crosses the finish line, that color card becomes a wild card for anyone else that has it. And it's a way of essentially like expediting the game, right? The first person wins. All right. So then like that next portion of the game becomes more frenetic, goes fast. You're not sitting there waiting, just like, oh my gosh, I wish it'll just be over. Like they do a really good job of kind of helping that. Mario Kart has that a lot, I feel like, of like someone is getting close to the finish and like all of a sudden stuff starts flying and everyone's like, the race gets really tight. And they do that to kind of help like everyone feel like you're not out of it. And also too, that you're not stuck in like 7th place and the race doesn't go on for 2 hours. It's nice. So Super Teams does a really good job of that. The little minis are adorable. It plays in 30 minutes, 2 to 4 players. I think this is a super fun game if you have a bunch of Star Wars fans in the house. Even if you've got someone who doesn't play board games a lot, you can teach them this, but it has some really good replay value. So really excited for that. Something I recommend. Moving into the Lord of the Rings universe, I'm going to be talking about the Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship. This is a kind of a take on the pandemic system of games. If you've played those games, those are super popular. There's kind of this base system of trying to stop whatever the kind of outbreak is, and you're also trying to survive and things like that. They take that kind of core premise and they completely turn it on its head with Lord of the Rings, because as you can see, if you're watching the live show, it's really cool. This thing has a full Eye of Sauron standing there. It's also a dice tower, and it actually affects things in the game. So like you're rolling these dice, that is going to have an impact on attacks and enemies, and also the eye moves as you move people, right? So you can play a ton of different characters. I mean, Aragorn's in this, Gandalf, of course, obviously Frodo and Sam. But then you have one objective to get to, like to get rid of the One Ring, right? That's your main objective. You have to get to Mordor to do that. But then you have a bunch of other objectives that you have to complete before you can actually do that final thing. And you have to get Frodo from one end of the board to the other. And every time he moves, you risk attracting the eye, and you risk attracting Nazguls, and they come and they can like make life even harder. You have different armies that you're also trying to help as you move across, right? Those are like the different battles between Mordor's minions, and there's like 4 different armies. So you're kind of keeping track of that as you move across, and as also you're keeping play. You control 2 characters at a time. And so you can split actions between them. So there's a lot of strategy there. What I will say is this is not, to me, very... If someone hasn't played a lot of board games and heavy board games, this is going to be super intimidating. This board is full of like, if you just look at the board, there's so many lines going everywhere. There's a lot of little symbols all over the place. They all trigger different things. This could be overwhelming. So if you have a Lord of the Rings fan, this is one of those I would suggest, like, get everything on the table ready first, know how to play the game, and then walk them through it. Like, this is not one of those you can learn on the fly. I think that will turn some people off, especially if they're not they're not avid fans of this type of gameplay. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this. It's very there's a lot of great decisions. Everything matters. Also, this game is all about, you will lose if you lose more than 8 hope. And so you're always trying to kind of manage this hope system, because it goes down as you lose units. The threat level is on top. There's a threat tracker. And as that goes up, the game gets harder. Like this can be a punishing game. So I think actually for like Souls players and people who like that kind of thing, roguelites, they'll actually probably dig that, because there's a lot to sink your teeth into. But like this can get overwhelming very quickly. That said, thematically, I think it's awesome. I think it looks super cool on the table. There's so much. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, there's so much to kind of dive into here. They do a really good job of like bringing each character to life. They have very unique abilities that fit. And then also just the production value. I think, the dice tower is awesome too, but like all the little meeples, all the little Nazguls are like full on little miniatures. There's so much happening there. And this is a very, you're going to get your money's worth out of this if you want to play this type of game. So, it kind of depends. Yes, San Diego, Z-Man does sound like a made-up company. It is real, though, and they make some great games. So this is out now. I recommend this, especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, but just be, cognizant of the fact that, hey, if you're breaking in someone new, I don't think this is the game to do that. give them to let them watch the game and see if it's something you want to dive into, but still recommend. So that is my agenda this week.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Evan. Shout out to Janelle, who's watching with her baby in hand. Shout out to everybody in the chat who woke up with us today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys, as always. We are Comic Book Nation, and you can subscribe to us on all your digital platforms. We're on all of them. We even got some nice love from Spotify at the end of the year with our stats. So shout out to all our Spotify listeners. You can always catch us either in audio form or on the live show in video on Twitch and YouTube or Facebook. You can also follow us individually on socials. We're all over the socials. And check out our work, as always, on Comicbook.com, where we write much longer and more nuanced and detailed and smarter thoughts about all of this than us just blabbing up here. And you can also discuss everything with us, especially Magic Matt over there in the Comic Book Forum, where he is active. So be sure to hop over to the Comic Book Forum, because, you know, we've taken it back. Forums, we're going retro, guys. Like, yeah, we don't pivot to video on your own. We're just going to be in forums just talking geek stuff. So hop on over there, because there's some really good points, some really good things said. All right, boys, everybody have a good weekend. I'll see everybody here next week. Go see some content on the big or small screen, pick up a comic, play a game, or simply turn it all off and touch grass for half an hour. Either way, have a good time. We hope to see you again. We are Comic Book Nation. Peace.
This is